Return to Glory podcast. Hunter Carpenter, Austin Rose, Dakota Freetag. It's been a while. Thanksgiving's got in the way. We're going to one episode a week. I didn't want to talk anyways, so.
Well, you wanted to talk like Friday night, but
I didn't want to talk immediately. I was fired up. Um, let's just say the emotions have been boiled up. I wouldn't say they've been relieved. So we're in for a fun one here today.
So we didn't do a preview pod of the Iowa game.
We did not, Dak.
not directly. No, we covered a
A
lot of
little
it on
bit.
that Sunday or that Monday.
But if we would have done a preview pod, looking back on now, I think that game kind of went how we would have said it would have or was going to go. Not as bad, but I think we would have said Iowa would have just ran the ball over Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as bad.
Yeah, not that bad. But
I don't think which is amazing because all year, Dak, you predict 40 to 35 of your 5-point games. I think this would have been the one game you're like 15 to 17 Nebraska.
So what was the over under in that game? I never even looked because, that's got to be, well, for sure the most points
I think it was like 38 or 39, and I'm pretty sure it hit like right at halftime.
And who had Iowa scoring that themselves?
Yeah, so yes, the Iowa game itself is going to be the main focus here to talk, but I think over the next several episodes here, there's going to be a lot to talk about, just from overall Matt Rhule and then the transfer portal, which is going to be open here for about a month through January 16th. And it's going to be a fun, I'll call it fun, but just a very eventful couple of months here, which is, I like how the NCAA has changed that, I guess, for football. It'll make it all at the same time. I'm kind of like a free agency heavy period. So there's going to be a lot here football wise still from now until January 16th, in addition to a bowl game, which we'll get to. But I want to spend a little bit of time here since we didn't get to talk much about Iowa and just jumping into the game itself. I know it's been a few days removed now. Here's the first thing that just drives me nuts. Not nuts, but it's also a respect thing. Kirk Ferentz, like that dude,
He just gets it.
He just loves beating Nebraska.
Oh yeah,
like chomping his gum on the sidelines, and like it's like I got these guys figured out, and they are so clueless, and he just loves it. So a little bit, it's like, God damn it, Kirk, but at the same time, like, respect. It's impressive, and I don't know. That's my first big takeaway from the game is just Iowa kicking our ass year after year. And yes, they're our rival, but are they? Doesn't a rivalry have to kind of go two sides? And
I think they're our rival. We're not their rival.
no, and I said that too. Their first rivals, Minnesota or Iowa State. We're probably third on the list, and you might even throw Wisconsin in there. We might even be fourth. They would be our number one right now from who we play on our schedule, and it's sad, but they don't even. I mean, they're just like, no, this is Nebraska. We'll go kick their ass every Black Friday and move on.
I thought I was ready to talk about this game, Hunter. I don't know if I am.
I shouldn't say kick our ass. I kicked their ass this year. In years past, like last year, we won 80% of the game, but Kirk Ferentz gets out of there and goes, we still beat them.
I was discussing because I watched this with my in-laws, and I was just trying to frame because prior to the game, they're like, are you guys gonna win?" And I said, I was just trying to frame how previous years have gone, and I was reliving last year's game of how we lost and you had like 7 first downs and 9 completed passes, and they're like 7 first downs and you guys lost. Like, yes.
yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, this year we're probably going to lose in a heartbreaking fashion at the end. And that did not happen. Um, I was the only one watching it by the end because everyone else had fallen asleep. So I'm just sitting there miserably with an infant on my lap, just trying to prevent me from getting too upset. But there, while we were watching the game, Iowa did something, and my father-in-law was like, "Why didn't they go for it?" And I was like, "They don't have." This was before the game got out of control, and I was like, "They don't have to. What they do is they just wait for us to fuck up."
Yeah.
And it came.
Um, you were talking about how Kirk Ferentz is chopping his gum and stuff. I talked to you about this last night. Him and PJ Fleck especially, they both have just figured out exactly how to beat Nebraska, and it's been through multiple coaches too.
I
Every
love
time
the.
it's
Did you guys see the stat of most Big Ten wins in Memorial Stadium?
is
Kirk
it
Ferentz is number two.
no way.
Number one is Bo Pelini.
Oh
Oh,
God.
yeah, with Nebraska coaches. Yes. Yes.
Any coach, yeah, regardless of.
He's got Kirk Ferentz has more wins in Memorial Stadium than Mike Riley, Scott Frost, and Matt Rhule.
I mean, you can't even call it a rivalry game anymore. They're just dominating Nebraska. Or could you even call it a rivalry? Like it's been since Nebraska in the Big Ten. That's all it's been.
That's what I said 5 minutes ago. Thank you.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
good.
great call, Hunter. Just that chicken
Um,
going to his head. Slow morning, too much grease.
so that was point one from the game. Point two, Emmett Johnson, and feel bad for the guy. I mean, he had a career day, right? Ran for over 200, about 230 yards, right? And career high, like
After the first
everything
half,
he
you
could.
thought he was gonna just absolutely run over them for the rest of the game and maybe
I
pull
mean,
it out.
can you imagine running for 230 yards and losing by 24 points?
He ran for 180 in the first half.
Like, come on.
Started the same way the Penn State game did. Big run to start, and you're like, oh boy, here we go.
I know.
And then the wheels just fall off right after that.
So that's just a general shout out for the game. That was the positive. Um, next on my list, for whatever reason, we still can't figure out how to stop the run, which we know the reason we don't have a D line, but we don't have a play call adjustment. I shouldn't say it was all like Penn State. It wasn't as running back heavy, but then Gronowski got loose, and that has also been a recurring theme this year of stopping the quarterback run. I mean, Gronowski's not he's still a big dude. He's not a efficient runner.
He's
He can
not just
move a little.
Denard Robinson.
Correct. He can move a little bit. And on the flip side, our offensive play calling, I just have play calling written down. We can dive into throwing the ball on 2nd and 4, and I completely get there's a time and place for throwing the ball. Hell, look at what Iowa did. Iowa runs the perfect play actions at the perfect
Yes.
time that has guys wide open, or they run just a simple double move with their tight end, which is like 8th grade football coaching. But if you run it at the right time with the right player against the right person, it works. That's all Iowa does. So yes, there's a time place for running, but man, we throw the ball, or for throwing it. We throw the ball on 2nd and 4 after a 6-yard run, and then yes, I did. That just was like another thing that just big sigh, big disappointment.
I mean, well, the other thing, I mean, our special teams probably worst special teams game of the year. Is that? I mean, we had the
Yeah.
fumble, and then their average starting field position was like on our 45 for the first half. It was something crazy.
Hold up. Pause real quick there about that fumble on the punt return. Why did they not review that for targeting?
Here we go,
I-
Dak. Blame the refs.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm just gonna because I was watching it the other night and I was like, and they reviewed this and it wasn't even close to the same amount of targets as that. And they threw the guy out. I was like, why? And that has nothing to do with the end of this game here. But I don't know why they
You know
didn't review
why?
that.
I don't because we didn't deserve it. That's why.
Yeah, that's I think that could have been it. The rest was like, well, this don't matter. But all right,
I mean, technically by rule, if you wanted to say it by rule, sure. But I was just like, you fumble it. You fumble it
Twice.
and then you fumble it first. You get to do the play over again, and then you fumble it to kind of 3 times and pick it up, and then you fumble it again.
Yeah,
I guess the first one, his knee was probably down before they redid the play for an illegal shift or whatever it was. But you just, at that point, I don't know. I was like, I didn't care. Yeah, you looked at it and the fans were just pissed after they saw it on TV, and Matt Rhule was pissed. But I just feel
fair. I think it's fair for Matt Rhule to be pissed. But
I agree. I feel like
that was kind of the nail. I mean, that was the point when the game. It was like we were down 8, we were getting the ball back, and then they got the ball. They got a safety there.
That gave him a safety to go up 10. Yes,
and then they got the ball back. So that it's like that was the moment of like it's not happening. Like okay, I got the ball down 8. Maybe we go down here and score. But once that happened, it's like oh no. This is over.
I saw a Nebraska fan complain about it on Twitter and some Iowa fan tweet back to him. He's like, all right, here you go then. He crossed to the 40 and put, all right, it's 38-16 now. Like, it did not matter.
Well, I don't know if that's a fair way to look at it.
It's a they won the, it's different than just taking the safety off, but.
that kind of led into my last note on the game itself. And this is going to lead into a lot of other conversation here. We have our players, right? Call them our dudes that are players on this year's team, who we thought were. Ja'Cory Barney was one of them going into the year. That happens, it just can't happen. It can't happen in a game. You can't have your better players making a play like that. Sierra Wright is one of the guys on defense that we would say is a leader, an anchor on this defense. On Gronowski's long run, he has an open one-on-one tackle in the backfield and just overruns it and whiffs. And like, again, who are our players, right? Like that's the question. If we're supposed to have players, who are they? And if those are the guys, like your players can't be messing up like that. And that again opens up a whole nother conversation on where we're at with the current roster and where the roster is going to be moving forward. But that was it's a big thing in games against teams like Iowa. Why does Iowa doesn't? Well, tell me who Iowa's players are. They just have a bunch of white receivers and kick returners, and who cares who plays quarterback for them, and who cares who plays running back for them? Like those guys beat us.
Another year we lost with the team completing less than 10 passes. So,
so anyways, that's just a point I wanted to make here, because a lot of the talk in the offseason every year is on the recruits and the portal, and it still will be. Who are these players? Who are these guys, right? Or look at our this year was receivers, right? I was
a non-factor for the year.
Isaiah Hunter. I mean, all of our receivers, for that matter, didn't do anything. What was our highest receiving yards guy this year, right?
Emmett Johnson. Well, probably Isaiah Hunter and then maybe Emmett Johnson.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but those guys, I wouldn't say those guys didn't do anything. Isaiah did probably better than what I thought.
He didn't do a lot once
maybe
came
he
in.
did.
Yeah, towards the end of the year he didn't do much, but
he did. But yeah, I'm talking. I mean, again, I'm taking those 2 garbage games out. Well, I mean, what were our stats for receiving yards? Did we have a guy get to 500?
Oh boy,
yes. Isaiah got to 617.
Okay, so we got someone at 617, but it's to me, those were our players, right? And then on the defensive side, I guess it was the transfers coming in. I don't know. Like again, those guys did solid,
Right?
but I don't know. Like it just to me, if we have so now the conversation with everybody, oh, we don't have the players, we got to get players, which I agree, but I don't want to hear in the off season about these players that we're getting. And I messed up because I got on the Danke hype train. I was pumped there too. Like Dylan Raiola again was what he was this year before he got hurt. He wasn't exceptional. He wasn't poor. TJ Latif was not what he was. So, like, whoever these quote unquote players are, which we have some hype already around, I'll say Trey Taylor. Like, great. I don't care right now until we get offensive line, defensive line, which we'll get to here in a second. So, any more on Iowa specifically? That was probably longer, and I wanted to talk about Iowa.
The only other thing, this definitely put to bed the TJ Latif starter next year.
I was just gonna.
Like, I mean, it's not that it's not a conversation, but it put to bed he's clearly the number one. Dylan's transfer
Right.
out. Like,
I agree.
looked,
Yeah, but it's still
bad in the second half.
Dylan's team if he wants it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big if. Yeah, and I'm not even close to putting this all on the T for that game, but he was horrible. That was.
There were some dropped passes, but
what I don't understand, and again, maybe he can't run. We didn't do design runs for him again for the second game in a row. Like
he was hurt. He got hurt in the second half, or at the end of the first half. The first half he still wasn't running it. He tried to run it one time.
No.
Yeah, which makes you wonder if he was a little hurt before, like in days weren't saying it, you know, and why they weren't running him, or if they just are that dumb and like.
I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen the. I know everyone says he can run. I just haven't seen like that speed and like.
No, I agree. He's not. He's not the running quarterbacks. He's not Taylor Martinez. He's not Jamal Lord. He's not
even Adrian Martinez. I feel like Adrian. Like you could just when they started running, it's like, oh, this dude can like move.
And he definitely has not shown that. And I don't think the play calling's letting him, which maybe the play calling shouldn't be letting him because he can't. We don't know that. I think everybody thought that maybe he could, but maybe he can't. So then that goes back to the player conversation. Well, then maybe he's just not very good. And we hyped up this guy for what? That
great fourth quarter, week 2 against Houston Christian.
that was it right there. that and a little bit of the spring game that we got to see.
You're just a Latif hater, Austin, aren't you?
I am not a hater. I wanted to win that game and I wanted TJ to do well, but you were the one who announced him by far better than Dylan Raiola. I mean,
yeah. Can we? I've yet
to see you take your word back on that.
Yeah.
This was last week. This was I know it wasn't, but it was like as we were getting thumped by Penn State.
Yeah,
he's by far better. I was like, I don't know, man. We're down 40.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll fully take it back yet. It's still as a freshman, 2 games on the road.
1 game on the road. Well, 2 games on the road. 1 game where he looked okay.
Okay, yeah. 3. Okay, so 2 games on the road, 1 at home. But God, that running part when he does run, he looks. It looks like Dylan Raiola saying he can run, like same speed, everything. Like he just doesn't move well. I don't.
It's better than Raiola. I would have to give that. But he's not. I just don't see it. Like I'm not like it's not like, oh, this dude's like a dual threat. It's like I don't know. He moves well on the outside of the pocket, but he doesn't have like that. Like when he makes the decision, it's not like oh, this dude's gone. It's like, oh wait, he's kind of just galloping.
Yeah, but compared to Raiola, he's definitely dual threat. Like, what do you? If you have any quarterback can move at all,
he might be a zero threat at this point. I'm not worried about his passing. I'm not worried about his running.
What I don't know is our system, philosophy, style, whatever that is. Like it's not conducive. Now, it doesn't have to add a bunch of quarterback runs. But I do think that just listen to Rhule talk about quarterback run game and Dana, like they made some comment about TJ getting down. And yes, I get it. Like if you running your quarterback, you don't want him just taking a bunch of shots. But I think our play calling is because and even with Dylan, we're scared to roll him out. We're scared to give him freedom to run because we're afraid he's going to get popped and hurt. And I just totally disagree with. I would not go out and tell him to go take a bunch of shots, but you can move. I think we just get a little scared play calling wise because we're afraid of them getting hurt.
Because we don't want TJ Lateef to go in.
But yeah, and I guess after TJ, then whoever else is left. So, but to me, that's a losing mentality. If you're playing scared of your backup coming in, then
I'm with you.
So, okay, season. Let's look at that big thing here. 7-5, another win total under, which now makes it the most. I don't know. We hit the under every year since 2016.
It's amazing that Las Vegas hasn't figured it out yet. It really is.
Aren't you just happy to make a bowl game?
I wouldn't know.
Yes, I am. I wouldn't say I'm just happy to make a bowl game, but I am happy we at least made a bowl game.
I wouldn't say it's Vegas setting the line there. I would say it's
Bettors moving it there.
It's Nebraska bettors betting the over. So Vegas says, suckers, we're going to keep raising it. And you guys are still going to lose your money. I would say that's a big part of it. But at the same time, it's a way of measuring expectations a little bit in my mind and underachieving those expectations that are set by a national audience. And we hit the unders again. And you're right. Yes, we made a bowl game. And this word that gets thrown around with any team, with any coach, is progress. And you can define progress how you want it to be. I just want to look at our schedule this year. And I know we got into this a few weeks ago on how difficult this schedule was and how it's hard to judge what a schedule looks like year in and year out. But this schedule and the opportunity to have a successful season, that whatever that looks like, a 9-3 playoff type of team that people thought was there for the taking. And you look at our best win, it probably ends up being Cincinnati to start the year, which Cincinnati was about. I mean, they probably maybe were a little better, people thought, but for a while there, they looked pretty decent. They kind of fell off end of the year. You beat a Michigan State team, you beat a Northwestern team, which if you want to call progress, we sometimes don't win those games, which we did this year. So in last year, which is good, but you get a banged up Michigan or a banged up, I shouldn't say banged up, but a no coach Michigan team. You get a banged up Penn State team in the state that they're in. Iowa's Iowa. USC's was decent. UCLA ended up being just garbage. They maybe had a little life there for a little bit, but looking back on it now after the season's over, I think that you can call them garbage. So you win 7 games of that. I don't know if you want to combine our opposing teams' wins, but it's not very many, or win-loss record. And it just that to me, it's a missed opportunity of a season. If you're Matt Rhule, if you're this coaching staff, if you're Nebraska football fans, you just feel like it's a missed opportunity to have a big step forward, and it wasn't there. That's my takeaway when you look at it. And especially then, again, wins are wins, losses are losses. You get destroyed your last 2 games to end the year by 2 of your better opponents in your schedule, but at the same time, opportunities, they didn't have to be blowouts, and they were.
Right. It's not that we're 7-5. It's that we lost to ranked top 25. I'm not gonna. They're when I say ranked, we like to rank Michigan, ranked USC, and then Penn State and Iowa. So we lost to all the good teams on our schedule,
and get blown out by Minnesota.
And then Minnesota is in there.
But it also is the games that we lost to our good teams. It wasn't. In USC, Michigan were kind of. We got kind of
Michigan. Michigan. The score looks better than it was because it's just because we scored like a touchdown with a minute left. We were down whatever it was, third or 10 with 2 minutes to go. Like it was never within reach.
When I say embarrassed, I don't mean, I mean score wise on a few of those games, but physically and from a toughness standpoint, embarrassed in Michigan, Minnesota, Penn State, Iowa. Like that's how we lost those games, and that's football. Like that's what football comes down to a lot. And in those games, it was just clearly man for man. We didn't have the players, and we just physically and mentally got the shit kicked out of us in those losses. So that's where you look at the season and you go, oh God. Like you would hope you'd be a little bit further when you throw that word progress around. That's a big nick on the negative side.
Yeah, I've been trying to wrap my head around how I feel about the season. Obviously, I'm disappointed. I thought we were all, I mean, I thought we were going to win 8 games this year. Yeah, you run through the schedules like, well, we should have. The Minnesota loss is the one that you just can't stomach. It's just like, I mean, obviously the blowout to Iowa is a killer, but when you go back and you look at your losses, like, yeah, okay, I expect us to lose to Michigan. I expect us to lose UC, Penn State. The Iowa game was always a toss-up, but that Minnesota loss is the one where it's just, that was kind of where it's like, this year's not the year. It's just not. This progress isn't, you can't drop that game when Dylan Rhule is still healthy.
Yeah, you're right. It's another good way of looking at it. Go back to the beginning of the season, show us the scores for all the games, and try to level set where your head was at on all these teams going into the year. The Minnesota game, you would have been like, what the hell was that? The Iowa game, you would have been like, what the hell was that? The rest of them, you would go, okay, that probably kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
But the problem was we don't have any on the other side that you would go, wow, I didn't expect that.
correct.
Which games would you do that on? There aren't. Though actually, there's probably one. The Akron game. You'd go, holy crap, we scored 70.
Right.
Like, that would be the one that you maybe would on the other side, on the positive side, look at it and go, I didn't expect us to do that. But there are two what the hell negatives, but no what the hell positives. I guess when you go back to the beginning of the year, if you want to look at it with the closed glass door, now. So that's probably a good way of looking at it, I would say.
Um, I guess, yeah. My overall opinions on the season, you know, I I do obviously Dylan Rhule getting hurt, I do think impacted us a little bit. Not enough, but obviously Matt Rhule saw it as well, but the defense was the weak link all year. I mean, offense obviously looked terrible towards the end of the year, but for the most part, outside the Minnesota game, again, we scored enough points to be competitive with Dylan Rhule being healthy. So John Butler obviously one. Okay. Are we gonna talk about John Butler? Where are we at? What do we want to talk about, Hunter?
We
I don't
will
want to
get
jump
to
lines. Okay.
John Dak. I want to hear your season thought here.
I mean, I think I personally feel a lot worse. So this is our end of season recap pod. I feel a lot worse talking about this season. No, I'm saying last year, same exact thing.
Okay.
Last year's, I feel a lot better coming out of last year's team than I do this year's team by a mile. Like, I don't see any progress at all. Like
We, we didn't
defense,
drop four straight in the middle of this
Dak,
year.
you need to go get some coffee and get this brain moving a little bit. I think that's what you need.
well, the defense didn't improve one bit. And I don't think the offense did either, like at all. And I think the only positive takeaway you can take away from the season, and this is the big positive, is the special teams got a lot better and won Nebraska like 3 or 4 games. That's the only way they really got these 7 wins, I would say. Other than that, I don't see any improvement at all on either side of the ball.
Yeah, when you're talking progress and that word that we throw out there, here's two areas where we got progress in: special teams and I'll call it ball security, penalties, whatever you want to throw in that bucket. Those are two areas that we saw progress, and I don't think you can really argue that.
Yeah.
Now, special teams, it would have been very hard not to see progress. I will say that, but it was drastically improved under Mike Eckler, and it really helped our team. You want to look at offense and defense, the other 2/3 of the game. Defense, arrow
Was
trending
worse.
down.
Offense was
Offense,
at least
Which
neutral. I
we
don't know if
definitely
it's
expected with Tony White leaving and all the players too. We definitely expect defense to be a little worse, but
we
not
we
like this.
expected a step back, but
Yeah.
not.
Not like this.
I shouldn't even say arrow trending down. I should say arrow down. Offense, you're right, neutral at best. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
like
won't say I don't feel like we got worse on offense.
Mm.
I don't think so. Our running game was
at best. You could
Yeah.
argue wherever you want to say, but so to that point, then you look at the three areas of the game. Yes, special teams we've said is a big part, and up to a third of the game. I get it. So does that offset everything else? I don't know. Like that's where progress to me is
And where
hard
was
to
that
define.
we brought in just a banging special teams coordinator.
Yep,
It's
and
like
that's good. Like that's credit to Rhule and being able to do that and all of that. So here's where this transitions us into Matt Rhule specifically here in year three. Should we be debating and why are we sitting here questioning progress after year three? That's the part of me that's I'm just not it's not good for the program. We're sitting here in year three under a coach that's supposed to be a program builder, rebuilder. That's his strength, right? And we're sitting here talking about are we seeing progress with him? And that to me is like take a step back and look at it from 1,000-foot lens. That's red flag. That's not good for the direction of the program. Austin said right after the game, he's like, not good. Nebraska football future is like that right there in itself. We're debating is there progress after 3 years of Matt Rhule, and that's concerning to me. Like the expectation.
there's progress. There's progress from year 0 to year 3, but there was not a lot of progress from year 2 to 3.
Correct. And with Matt Rhule coming in, which I believe before we hired him, right, the coach you won here had a big task to take over the Scott Frost debacle of where we were at. Matt Rhule then came in with this 3-year game plan that he's had at other schools, and this was year 3. It didn't pop as much as it did at Temple and Baylor. While we've had him here, it's been a roller coaster. As we think about it, there's been some moments where you're really excited about the future of Nebraska football with him, and he's bringing in players and talent and people around him, and throwing that talent word out loosely. Everyone gets excited about him. That's what Nebraska fans do. That's great. Matt Rhule's a great talker to the media. He's a great salesman. He's always been that way. And that is great for a program like Nebraska because you need to do that to keep the hype up, to get recruits here, all of that, especially in today's transfer portal world. But here we are in year 3. After year 3, we just completely skipped over the bowl game piece. But we're not done with year 3. There's still a bowl game, but some people would actually kind of put the bowl game as like its own season.
Yeah.
I guess the point is what are we selling right now? If you're Matt Rhule and you're going out, 2 things. You got to sell a couple of areas. One, you got to sell your entire program vision, philosophy to boosters, your AD, people making the decisions in-house on Nebraska football. I mean, the fans kind of, I guess, throw in there too. You got to sell the fans, I guess. But the main people making the decisions, You got to sell. You got to sell what you're doing. You have to have a plan. You have to be confident in that plan. And that was kind of what Rhule said after Iowa, that he is still confident in his vision, his goals, blah, blah, blah. Second part is you got to be able to sell all of that to high school and college kids in recruiting in the portal to get them to come and help you win games. Right now, Matt Rhule, hey, you're good at it, but what in the hell are you selling? What are you giving to what are you providing after this last couple of games to say, come to Nebraska and here's what you're going to get at Nebraska versus all these kids going to, and when we're talking about talent, we're talking about competing with Iowa level teams and above, like not your Northwesterns, not your Iowa States. We're talking Michigan, Ohio States, Alabama's, Georgia's, Wisconsin's, USC's to take that next step. We're talking those places. What are you selling to them to come to Nebraska? It's hard right now. But that's what Matt Rhule's really good at. That's, to me, where we're at with Rhule. And that's why I'm scared. I don't know. I don't know how you sell this team, this program right now with what just happened.
I've been thinking about Matt Rhule's place and the impact of a head coach. Because I've been thinking, can you, I guess maybe what's your guys' opinion? Can you win where your head coach, he's the salesman? This is like when you promote again, we talked about Matt Rhule's in the CEO role. This is like a company that like, hey, our top salesman's our guy, and we're shifting from a customer focused to a sales focused. And can it work where he is selling, but you have really good coordinators that execute? And I think it can, but you have to nail those hires, and he hasn't. I mean, you look at the offense, we still have our previous offensive coordinator on staff, but we have a new offensive coordinator. We've had two offensive coordinators in 3 years. We'll have, we've had two defensive coordinators in 3 years. We'll have another one next year. So I mean, I think he knows that. We've had two special teams coordinators. So I mean, I think he recognizes that, but I haven't yet seen that he can do it. So I think his approach can work. I just don't know if it can work. It's just not working. That's where I'm confused because it's like, I think it can work. It's not working. I think he's doing what he needs to do to make it work. But I haven't seen the Mike Eckler thing is like the one positive is like, okay, he saw like our special teams is abysmal. I'm going to go get the best special teams coach that I can.
And while that's a positive, Mike Eckler has ties to Nebraska too. So it's like,
correct. It was already kind of there.
Yes.
Like, like there was like, yes. I'm torn. I think the approach can work. And I honestly think it's a good approach.
But you have to be good at I love your business analogy, and maybe that doesn't hit with some of the listeners. Dak's probably head spinning right now, but you hire a marketing guy, you hire the salesman as your CEO, right? That's your strength and you're really, really good at it. If you don't surround yourself with the right people to fill in your weak areas, your weak spots, then you're in trouble. And I think that's what you're kind of saying is
that's when the operations fall apart.
Yeah, you're questioning right now the operations right now on one. I think there's two pieces of it. Your board of directors room, your coordinators, your coaches, but then your next level employees who are your players. That also has not been excellent. You've hit on a high 5-star Dylan Raiola, but you start with a Jeff Sims who was abysmal, and you're what to me then going back to this business analogy, you are juggling your philosophy, your company culture, your company structure, how you're operating. All of that's been is you're trying to morph it in your 3 years that you've been the CEO, and you don't really know exactly what you're moving towards because you have so many moving parts with your CFO, with your offensive coordinator, with your defense. You have so many moving parts constantly, so it's hard to consistently define, here's what I believe in as this salesman. But if you're a salesman, you sometimes don't even know what you want because you are just a salesman. That's all you know. So you don't know what you don't know. That to me is where I don't know that Matt Rhule is a great football coach. Like, as far as coaching football, which, like you said, Austin, doesn't have to be necessarily in a perfect world. But you saw what happened at Carolina, where you're not doing as much selling, you're more coaching, because that's the NFL. So throw that out of there if you want. But look at some of this in-game time management stuff, short yardage stuff, which Matt Rhule might say that's not me, that's my coaches, which it might be. But as far as in-game coaching stuff and adjustments, Dak mentions adjustments a lot. We don't do those well. Like,
when we took that
timeout,
against Iowa just to kick the field goal when we were down on the 7-yard line, let the clock run down. I was like, what are we doing? Like, there is no I could not wrap my head around like why on earth we went out there and just let the clock run out
it was like the decision making was so slow that we kind of ran out there, but then didn't. Like, just stuff like, as an example of that doesn't make sense. Why would you not have a system, a decision making process that's sharp and quick and not burn a time out there? So to that point of Matt Rhule, what's he good at? We've hit what he's good at. But when you're a salesman and you don't have anything to sell, things can fail pretty quickly when your product is poor. And that is why I am very, 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 very low on this working with Matt Rhule right now. There's the little hope here is that the portal doesn't close till January 16th. And if he resets his foundation to offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and we go out and get some guys in the portal,
and we hire just an absolute banging name at DC.
Well, and maybe we still haven't talked about that yet, but
someone wants. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That gets us up. Gives me a little bit of hope to where maybe this still could work. But right now, I am like,
you have to go out and win the bowl game, though. You go out and you lay an egg at the bowl game.
Yeah, that's also that's also included, I guess, in this next month and a half, right? What kind of, because this is Matt Rhule. What are you selling right now to your current locker room guys for this bowl game?
Yeah, how are they pumped up at all?
Like, clearly, I don't think they were pumped up once the Iowa game started going south. It just looked like the wheels fell off again, just like Penn State games. So, like, the players right now to me are. They start questioning the CEO salesman guy. Once everybody starts doing that, and that's all you're good at, what's left? There's a little bit of hope in me. Again, I'm not saying fire him right now, but if nothing happens over the next, if we get beaten our bowl game and it doesn't look pretty and there's no motivation, and then come January 16th and we have not gotten any linemen, and all we're talking about is receivers and defensive backs and all that, like, I'm sorry, we're wasting a year next year, because next year we won't go into the schedule. It's tougher than it is this year. It's not going to be as opportune. We're going to be wasting a year or multiple years on Matt Rhule here when we could be getting a head start on somebody else. That's where my head's on Matt Rhule. Like, there's a little bit of hope holding on, but you got about a month and a half to sell what it is. And it's going to be hard because there's not much right now.
And Troy Dannon's like, I don't think the defensive coordinator was purely fired because Matt Rhule wanted him fired. I think there was some pressure of like, hey, I gave you a freaking extension and you come out the next 4 games and look like absolute, I guess 6. I guess it happened right before the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
Right after. But you come out and end the year, whatever it was.
It just feels like we're in Scott Frost year 4 now too, where same thing happened. We're like, Frost, we're not firing you yet, but you better go out and get a new coordinator because what you're doing as play calling is not working. So we go out and get Mark Whipple. Like, it just it feels so repetitive right now, which sucks that we're here at Nebraska football. But until you define the lines of scrimmage, I don't think it matters who you have here, because that's what we are as a program. Like, we are not, we got to be Iowa. We got to be Iowa and Minnesota. And we got to be those teams first before we can do, because we're playing them every year and we get our ass kicked by them every year. So until you become them and beat them,
we don't need to be like, and even then, like the bar isn't as, it's not absolute domination. Like Iowa's defensive line didn't absolutely dominate us.
No.
But they did get pushed around. I mean, like, they still applied pressure, but
it's because they believe in toughness and physicality and all of that. And that just, to me, you can say that as Nebraska, like coaches can say that, but Iowa and Minnesota know how to teach it and preach it and live it to a whole nother level, doing the little hard things. Like, again, the coaching staff is going to say, we are doing the hard things. We are doing tackle drills and practice.
They know.
The point. It's doing them better. It's doing them to an elite level. And if you don't know how to do it to an elite level, then yeah, you're going to get your ass kicked by the teams that are doing it at an elite level.
Those two teams especially know, and it's been through multiple coaches with Iowa and Nebraska. They know with Nebraska, if you just stick to the same game plan, eventually Nebraska will crumble and you'll be able just to dominate them on both sides of the ball. Or both lines.
I mean, outside of the fumble, it didn't really feel like we were beating ourselves. It just felt like we got beat.
Yeah.
Which is which is worse.
And I felt that way all year. I don't know if there was really a game where I felt like, oh my gosh, if we just did this, if we just cleaned this up, we'd be fine. It just felt like we got beat. The games we lost, it's just like, oh, we just got, outside of the USC, that was the only one where Dylan gets hurt, and I felt like we were in a decent position. The other 3 or 4, I guess, I just felt like we got beat. Well, Michigan, I felt a little different, but definitely the last 3, it's like, we're just getting beat. We're not fumbling the ball. We're not throwing dumb interceptions. We're not.
And Michigan kind of was that way too. I mean, a little bit.
Yeah, Michigan was the one I was thinking of, but
I'll call out Jackson. He's kind of our consultant here, and this is how his mind is. He frustrated. Never can work here. You fix one thing and the next thing goes right. You fix the turnovers and you fix special teams, but then now this, the O-line, D-line blows. Well, then you'll fix that next year, and then we'll go back to the quarterback will blow up. Like, while that's true, we've been playing this cycle for 10 years now of this thing got better and then this next thing falls off. If you have the foundation in the core of a line of scrimmage, okay, then some of those other things will ebb and flow. Yes, but if you have a consistent core in that piece, you will be better off in every other aspect of the game, and that is what those teams do right now in the Big Ten, and why they are consistently 7-8 win teams with occasional blow up years of winning more than that, is because they have a strong line of scrimmage, and they don't ever fall back to having 4 or 5 win seasons. 3, 4, 5 win seasons like some of these other Big Ten teams do, because they build that first. And that's why it's so important that you have to understand that and realize that if you're a Nebraska coach. I hope that's evident to Matt Rhule. I think that's what's going to save his job in the long term. But right now, that's not the case. And speaking of his job, and not just Matt Rhule, but like coach in Nebraska, I want to ask you guys, like, what is going to keep a coach here for a long period of time? I mean, yes, getting coached by another school is one way you leave, but if you're a coach in Nebraska right now, what is something that's going to secure your job for, like, what is the goals? What's your goal as a coach? There's a program right now.
I don't fully understand. I mean, to win games,
win games, but like, what's going to keep your job here? Like, if you win 6 games, you're not going to stay here forever.
Oh, I see. From the administration perspective. Is
Yeah,
that
like,
what
well, it'll just fans expectations, players, coach. Like, what are you working towards?
Show for right now, being Matt Rhule, show you know what the problems are on your team and fix that for sure. That's number one. Like you've been saying, D line, O line. You got to fix that for sure. That's one way to keep your job. And if you don't, your job's gone. Like that's
Yeah,
key to
I'm
that,
just
I
saying.
feel
I'm
like.
saying, what's your goal as a coach? Like
Con-
anywhere.
Have come out of the season showing that you're moving forward.
I'm talking like goals, like end of the year, where you see yourself in the nation. Like,
Oh, playoffs for sure, or national title.
yeah, that to me is yes. Like, if you're coaching any program, right, you have. Well, maybe not. Maybe you're doing. Like,
Yeah, it
yeah,
not
maybe
any program, but
you're literally doing it to make best friends with players, but like your goal is to win games. What Austin said at a very simplistic level, but you have a goal of being consistently good, which to me is defined as competing to be in the playoffs and give yourself a chance to win a national title. That's what I think keeps a job right now anywhere, right? Jonathan Smith just gets fired at Michigan State. Michigan State did not see a future with him ever getting them back to an 8 or 9 win team and making the playoffs. That was not going that way. Obviously, UCLA happened. These coaches are getting fired. Well, the guy at Cal got fired for going 7-5, right, this year, and Duke at 7-5,
which that's insane. But
in the
yeah.
ACC champion. That is what any Power 5 coach, and if you guys have a different opinion on this, like any Power 5 coach wants their team to be a contender to make the playoff year in and year out. Is that? I mean, to me, that's a true statement.
Yeah, no, that's a true statement.
Yeah. So Matt Rhule, and that's why we actually had about 25 to 30 people vote in our poll. Dak put one out there. We put a poll out there. Will Matt Rhule ever get this team to the playoffs?
And it was pretty resounding no.
I think it was like ended up being 62-38% no. I don't know. Austin, did you vote or did you see that?
I didn't see that. No.
What would you if you is no yes no if no there's no maybe. If you just said right now, I'm giving you a $3,000, you can win it if you nail this on the head. Will Matt Rhule win a playoff game or play in a playoff game in Nebraska?
It's really a bet on how long do you think he's going to be here.
That's it all factored in. Is it
Yeah.
yes or no?
I'm going to say no.
I'm gonna say
I'm
no.
gonna say no.
No.
Because I think if we had 2 more years where we're 8-5 or 8-4, well, because again, next year's schedule, he's got to make it through next year's schedule, which is the thing I don't.
Let me rephrase the question a little bit too, because yeah, you can factor in how long you think he'll be allowed to be here. Let's say you give him 10 years, 15 years.
Then
you
yes.
you think he would make a playoff game?
Yep.
Yeah, if he's here 10 or 15 years, then obviously there's something good going
By 10
on.
or 15 years.
No. I'm not saying he's here. I'm not saying that's given. I'm saying if you give him 10 or 15 years, like right now, you cannot fire him. Okay. It's not 10 or 15 years is not guaranteeing that he's having success. I'm just saying you can't fire him. Let's add a rule that says you can't fire a coach. You're forced with him for 15 years.
One couple of things baked into that. They're going to expand the playoffs. It'll happen. There's too much money not to.
Okay, let's stick to the 12-team format right now.
12-team. I think within a 10-year period, there would be one fluke year where you end up shaking out top 12.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how I'm looking at, and if people ask about Rhule and his future in Nebraska, that's the question I'm going to just pick their brain with, because to me, that is how you can decide as an individual whether you want him here as your coach, as I say next year, but just in the future. Austin right now would say yes because he thinks he can. I don't think he can. I don't think he understands what we talked about earlier, how to do some of the other things outside of selling. So I don't think he can. So that's why I'm leaning towards I wouldn't want him here. Dak, would you say he can or cannot?
If you give him if it's 10 or 15 years, yes.
So you think
Um,
Matt Rhule is what you're saying then is he's going to he'll be able to problem solve and figure out how to get the right pieces together to get themselves back to the playoffs.
yes, I
12-team
do.
format.
For 10, 15 years, and it's only because I think exactly what Austin said. I think there'd be 1 year in there was fluky, which I'm not. So I'm not like saying this guy has.
Yeah, you guys, I guess maybe are positive that what fluke years aren't to me. There's no such thing as a fluke year. I don't think not in college football. Like when have we had a fluke year in Nebraska in our lifetime? Our lifetime, we've never had a
In our
fluke year.
lifetime,
Um,
there was that
What
year we
Mike Riley
started out.
going 9-4?
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
what
a
I was saying.
fluke
That
year?
year we
That wouldn't have
started
made the
out.
playoffs.
We started 8
maybe
0.
Tatum Martinez's freshman year.
That wouldn't have made the
Bo
playoffs.
Pelini had no fluke seasons. But he was
No,
like,
no, that was
I'm gonna get you 9 wins.
I mean,
steady
maybe you
ship.
could say that. I just I don't think he will. I mean that if we get linemen and do all that in the next month and a half, then maybe you can change my mind on that. But as of right now, I just don't think he can. And you're right, it does come down to what we're allowed to give him, and that's where some people are tired of the firing the coaches and that cycle of giving someone time. I just think those times are over. I really do. Like in the transfer portal market and in a world where you do, and this is why Matt Rhule, like what he's good at, this is why things can be good under him, is because he's a good salesman, and all you have to do is sell to your players and your program in the country your style and vision, because it is people can move in and out so frequently. But if you don't have anything to sell and things aren't going well, it's not good. So that to me is why I don't know. I'm okay with getting a new up and comer and trying it for a few years. And if it doesn't work, then move on to the next guy. I don't think money's a big issue. And people always complain about, oh, we're paying coach X, Y, and Z. We're still paying them for their buyout. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't think that's as big a deal. Now, maybe it is a little more now that you got to pay players. So maybe that is something you got to factor in. But that is where that was the point of that question. In Matt Rhule's future, not that that's going to be a huge topic of conversation yet, but
I think he's not in the hot seat yet, but next season it's warming.
agreed. And yeah, and like my opinion, I just don't. The schedule's tougher unless we see something different with the roster. The 2026 recruiting class is not good.
No.
It to me just does not. You're not going to be able to make the excuse that we're young, and we have young talent coming up every year. People are going to figure that out. Like I'm already like it's an excuse to me a little bit in year 3. Like that's your job to bring in either veteran talent from the portal or develop guys that were young in your first year. Like that's what you should be doing. So that's not really a good excuse to me in year 3 anymore.
And he has not proven to fix the parts where you know Nebraska needs to be fixed. Like
I don't know if that's true. He fixed the turnovers. He fixed
special
the
teams.
special teams. He's there. I'm not gonna say there's been no that I mean disservice to say there's been no improvement. Obviously, we've made 2 bowl games in a year, which hadn't happened in
Agreed.
the previous 8 seasons. So it's not to say
Yeah,
that
but
he's the worst coach in the world and deserved to be fired after year 3.
Right.
Those 2 improvements though almost offset with how much the defense and offensive lines are that much downhill right now. Like
The offensive line wasn't worse than last year. I don't think.
They had their
No.
moments, but last year they had their moments too. I heard another podcast talk about it. Like our offensive line kind of came back a little bit back around the last couple of games.
When we just decided to run the ball. But I think that's
Yeah.
part of it was we're just going to run the ball. We don't need to pass protect. We don't need to.
Hello,
Yeah, I
philosophy
know.
style like that. I run blocking is another Jackson comment. Run blocking, I think, is a lot easier, a little more to get your mentality right than pass blocking.
Oh, because run blocking,
attacking somebody
you're
who's getting
trying.
attacked.
Yeah, exactly. You're the one making the decisions as opposed to being reactionary.
mm-hmm. You go ahead. But like I said, with offsets the offense, I mean, it's still terrible, the offensive line. Like, it's not.
Terrible's a strong word.
I
No
would
Three
one
put,
or
wins.
3 or 4 out of 10.
yeah, it's not good, and that's something that coming out last year too. That we're saying, hey, you got to fix this, and then here you go, bringing these transfer portal guys. Spindler was good, but these other guys, like, what has he proven that he can find the right talent from the portal and all this recruiting, all this, find the right talent that's going to help this team win? He has not proven that one bit yet.
Yeah, that's the part of. Yeah, you can sell your program and your vision to anybody, but you got to make sure they're the right people.
Yeah.
Spindler, I think, helped our offensive line a lot.
Our
I think
interior offensive line is good.
Justin Evans was developed into a pretty good offensive lineman. Pritchett, I'm torn on him. I think there's still raw talent there. I don't know that we saw
He
that.
got better. I think he got better as the season went on.
Yeah, like
he wasn't even
that one's a tough one. We spent a lot of
Yeah.
money on him.
He'd probably be one I'd bring back and develop for a year, and I think that he would be good enough.
Here, we're talking about good enough, not bad. I saw a stat somewhere. It's something about our offensive linemen in the NFL, drafted to the NFL, like in the last so many years. We haven't had one in a long time. So we have these like good enough guys. These are guys are okay. We don't have elite offensive linemen either. We haven't had one for a long time. And that used to be one area where we would always be like, Spencer Long, God, he sucks in Nebraska. But then he'd go on and have a 12-year career in the NFL. Like, they were pretty damn good.
Right.
Matt Slauson, another one that we would be, Matt Slauson's horrible, right? He's terrible. Then he went on the NFL and played for 9 years. Like, these guys were pretty damn good offensive. We would take Matt Slauson and Spencer Long and some of these guys, we would take them back in a heartbeat right now for offensive linemen. That kind of shows how far that position has taken a step back in the lack of focus. Now, Bill Callahan.
I say, do we do a little Mike Eckler action? Get rid of Donnie Raiola and try to bring in Bill Callahan for a year or two?
There we go. Like he's a definition of a very, very, like, one of the better offensive line coaches, and he's proven that at multiple places. Not a head coach, obviously, but good offensive line coach. So, yeah, like that is a big thing. As far as bringing players in here, and like I said, when people start talking to me about all this other stuff on Nebraska football, I'm responding with, who cares? Get offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Like, that's my mentality right now, until even when it comes to bowl game conversation. Now, this podcast is going to be the place where I can express my thoughts elsewhere, but all the other conversation I think is wasted right now until you define that for the Matt Rhule. Like, it's not worth talking about to me, because that to me is what's going to define his future in the next year, especially at Nebraska.
Yeah, we'll see. Those are and I mean, everyone wants offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and the good ones don't leave.
Which that's the tough
they
part.
do, but I'm talking next level. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. There's not a lot of those ones out there to be grabbed. Like, they're just
I would just say go make them. Like, spend extra money and dollars on getting those guys. And we could go on for another half hour on the allocation of dollars, and we can talk. We have quarterbacks to talk about, Emmett to talk about. We can maybe do that next podcast.
we're not gonna have time to talk defensive coordinator this week. We got to talk basketball and volleyball.
But we are going to talk defensive coordinator, because that did happen. Dak's been preparing a lot for this next little segment here. John Butler, we mentioned it. If you follow Nebraska football, you probably know he got fired. Matt Rhule's now hiring a new defensive coordinator. I saw UAB posted their head football coach on LinkedIn yesterday, which is kind of funny. So coaches right now, the point is coaches are also in a carousel of moving around. So I thought it'd be kind of fun, take a little break from football, and let's see what Dak knows about football and as a leader and everything. Dak, I'm going to introduce you as Matt Rhule as the new defensive coordinator to the Nebraska football team, and this is your first opportunity to speak to the team. So I got to get my Matt Rhule voice ready here. Dak's going to get hired, and then I'll let him go. So Austin's a linebacker. Dak,
There you go. Pitch it to me.
role play. Pitch it
All
to
right.
Austin. He's
All right.
he's the linebacker coming in next year's team. So hey guys, this has been a tough year. I think we got a lot of progress, but unfortunately we had to get rid of head coach John Butler or defensive coordinator John Butler from the staff. Things weren't moving in the right direction, so we've had to move a new route. And I'd like to introduce you to our new defensive coordinator, Dakota Freitag.
All right. Well, I'm glad to be at Nebraska. That's number one here. Now let's dive into this. First steps first here. There's no I in team, but there isn't win. I'm make this team win. All right. Here we go. Enough of this bull crap. This last guy sucked. He knew what the problem was the whole time with D-line, the run game. Couldn't stop the run game one bit. We're going to get guys on D-line here. Big old boys. 300 pounds, 400 pounds, whatever they need. We're going to stop that run game. We're going to get pressure on the quarterback. That was another big thing. No pressure on the quarterback last year at all. And we're going to fix this team from within. And I'm tired of hearing about, we got all these transfer portal guys, whatever, and all these guys left. Enough of that bull crap. We're going to bring in the guys I want, which is big dudes on D-line, fast linebackers. I'm just going to tell it to the other teams and try to stop it. We're going to be sending the house a lot. Like 90% of plays, we're going to be blitzing. I don't care if we get burnt deep. We're blitzing. We're going to hit your quarterback. And you know what? We're going to play a little dirty. There's going to be some cheap shots here and there. We're going to make teams not want to play us.
There that's okay, coach.
All right, Coach Freitag. Sorry, I think we made the wrong decision. You're fired.
Let's get.
All right, position's back open.
To UAB I go. you don't want to blitz 90% of the time?
No, you didn't sell at all anything to me as a player, as a head coach of what you're going to believe in.
This guy seems like someone who's never coached football before.
I don't even need to comment on that, Austin. Did he sell to you as a linebacker on the team?
No, I didn't buy it. Well, as a linebacker, it didn't sound like I didn't roll. It's just she's gonna hire some 500-pound people to sit in the middle of the field.
That's what I thought. He just basically said, "F all you. I'm gonna go get portal guys."
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Austin, you can go then. We'll go find a better guy.
Pack your Louis.
Yep. See ya. You guys suck. Get out of here. Especially D linemen.
Positive is Colorado's also bad. So
I mean, you got to tell us D linemen. You probably can't tell them like this, but I'd say, hey, you guys suck. Get out of here. Like we're gonna just bring in different people.
I was just thinking about. Remember the Keona Davis? Like we got to keep this guy. We can't let this guy go in the portal. He's probably like the 11th leading tackler on the team.
Yep. And Van Poppel, those two, Keona Davis.
Yep.
Man, what did they do? Not a whole lot. Real quick, we'll mention it. Husker volleyball.
Big Ten champs.
Big Ten champs, undefeated. Finished that off. Regional start this week.
4 all Big Ten players, Big Ten Setter of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year, Bergen Riley sneaking in there. No one had that one coming into the year.
No. What a year. Chance here in the next few weeks to finish out the year as you should, given the year that you've had. And there's no reason to think that they shouldn't win the national championship. I saw someone list off the potential path of teams, ending obviously at the end with I believe we're on the opposite side of Kentucky and Texas, who are kind of the one seeds to be in the national title potentially, and then you can back your way out to, I don't even know who else. I think it was Pittsburgh, maybe one of them.
Pitt's 4. The 2 seed in our bracket is oh geez, I just blanked. Kansas is not
Is it
it.
Kentucky?
No, I
Louisville.
just said they're on the Louisville. Yep. So you can back your way into that, but I think regional start here this week against Long Beach is our 16 seed, and Kansas State and San Diego,
What do
I
you
believe,
what are you putting the odds on that Long Beach game is gonna be a sweep?
minus
Well, is
8,000.
Long Beach's head coach still Tyler Hildebrand?
Oh, actually, great question. I don't know. Could be.
Former co or whatever, assistant head coach.
That's actually a good point. I kind of forgot he went there. It'd be a reason why they would put that matchup for sure.
I mean, you could tell that the people building the bracket, they're like, we want Danny to beat Louisville. We'll throw in maybe. I think he's still
You
there.
throw K-State as kind of like a local rivalry in there.
I think Kansas is in our bracket too. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. I'm looking for the bracket. There we go.
They do that a little bit more in volleyball too, because they do it in basketball as well, but there's a lot less scrutiny, I think, in volleyball. So their ability to get away with it and not like take a bunch of crap for it.
Yeah. For basketball, they did the same thing with A&M, I think, when Nebraska played them. So yeah, it's
Trying to find Long Island. Long Island.
Oh, it's at Long Island. I think he went to Long Beach.
Oh, it is Long Island. Yeah. Yep. He went to Long Beach.
Different California.
Oh, whoops. Yeah,
warm,
I said
warm school.
Well,
I've
is
been
Long
called
Island
Long
in
Beach
New
too.
York?
Oh, it could be Long Island. New York.
I have no idea. We'll ask their fans when they come here.
I think
Husker
you-
basketball. We'll spend a lot more time talking about them here, but it would be nice to talk about them here for a while. Being 8-0 for the first time in a long time. I don't know what the stat is on when the last time Nebraska was 8-0, but it has to have been not in our lifetime.
Yeah, but then they throw a nice kick to the balls right after the Iowa game, losing the siege, and that's nothing. Nothing can always go too good for Nebraska.
Jack, I was trying to keep us positive here, but thanks for throwing that in there. Yes, the season is out for the year. Heading into Creighton on Sunday, where I think we're probably going to be favored at home.
Yeah.
Creighton's looked okay. They've lost a couple of games. They've also played a few tougher teams than we have. But it's going to be a good game regardless. They're talking one of the bigger games at PBA in its history, given the stakes that Nebraska's at. I mean, you win this game, you're going to be ranked, which I don't want to be ranked. But we're right outside the top 25 right now as we're 8-0, which we should be. And big opportunity here heading into Creighton week. We also play Wisconsin next Wednesday, which is crazy that conference basketball is already here, but we are. And we're going to start to see what kind of team we are, what kind of depth we have for the Big Ten. Non-conference is at worst, we're losing one game, which I think is exceeding a lot of people's thoughts. Which has been a very good start to the year.
It's funny because the amount of money we dump into football, we have the other 3 of the big 4 are all undefeated thus far in 2025. I should say 2025.
Yep.
This calendar, this scholarly year, I should say. Women's, men's, and volleyball are all undefeated. So good thing we're putting all that money into football.
Wait a second here. I just thought about this. Throw back to football just a little bit, but with basketball too, this is going to be. I wasn't on this podcast back then, but weren't you guys ready to get rid of Hoiberg after year 3? Like, didn't see the trajectory or anything?
Nope. We talked about hot seat, but at the end of every season, he kind of saves himself by going on a run.
And I'm saying he is a better coach than Rhule is for football, but that could be one hope there is that he turned this program around.
I think there was some talk last year, maybe when he went on that, or 2 years ago, where it's like, maybe it's time we look at, some of the other big names out there.
Yeah.
Guys, I have a different angle on this. I'm still talking. I'm Hoiberg has not saved his job yet this year for me. He's on
No.
he's on his way, but
Yeah.
you
The
don't
wheels could still fall
you don't get
off.
to a tournament game this year. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want him here anymore.
And that's how I think that's how we ended last year, was like this year's tournament or bust. No tournament.
Yeah.
It's
and that
probably
keep in
time.
mind too, year 3 in Hoiberg was not him turning a program around.
His
Okay,
building
it was
program.
he failed the program years 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So your take on him, like Tim Miles, remember, got us to a tournament in 2014, right? Like his tenure got stagnant after a couple of years, a year or two after. I can't remember if it was 1 year or 2 years after. I think it was only 1 year. Where we didn't make the tournament after 2014. I can't remember exactly how many years it was after, but anyways, that's why he kind of got let go and fired. And then Hoiberg took over, and it fell off even more for the first few years. And we've talked about why that was. He had a very different vision style, and it was not working. And he changed it, and now things have been moving. Now we're back to, I would say, where Miles was. But I wouldn't. For him to stay here long term, like it's got to go the next step and make a tournament and win a tournament game. Like I do not want to coach here that if we're not winning a tournament game after freaking 15 years, why is he still here? He shouldn't be here.
Right.
He should be having somebody else. So, no, your little smart comment here trying to get us is incorrect.
Wow. Okay.
Just be better. Be better.
He beats ranked teams. That's it's just the juxtaposition of football. It's just like, again, I agree. You gotta make a tournament game. You have to.
Yeah,
You feel better. You just feel better about Fred right
you
now.
do. You feel like
Yeah.
you feel decent about the year. Like Big Ten season. We're gonna see, like,
We'll find out.
We have some good non-conference.
We'll see how important Connor is. That's
Yeah. There's still plenty of time for the wheels to fall off. But Sunday's game, I've heard a couple people say this. I think it's not counting that A&M game, tournament game. I think it's the biggest game Hoiberg's had in his tenure.
I'm not super worried about Connor Sejan's loss. I don't know. I could be wrong, but he's averaging 14 minutes a game, 5 points a game. I just don't know if
And he's a bad defender.
and he's a bad defender.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, I was more worried about our depth because we've only been really playing 7 deep. And I mean, even that's a stretch. So we're thinner now, but in theory, we have some guys that might be able to fill a 14-minute 5-point void, maybe.
I think Connor's production would have won us 1 or 2 games in the Big Ten, because he would have a couple of games where he would just go off. He did last year, and he's an added shooting threat on the court that you have to guard him. And yes, he has not shot it great. He has not scored much so far this year. He would have popped off for a couple of games this year and probably would have won us a couple of games because he can shoot the ball. That's where I think we're going to miss him. Which, 1 to 2 games might be the difference in making an NCAA tournament game or not. So that's where we're not missing his defense. Like, we're probably going to get better because of that, with whoever comes in and plays instead of him. But that's where I think we could see a little bit of a miss from him.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not saying we won't miss him at all, but I don't think that when you look at, if we don't make a tournament game, like, well, if Connor Sejan was healthy this year, we probably would have. I don't think that's where we're going to be.
Yeah, they really need Kendall Blue now to step up and those other guards, but yeah, it's gonna be those hot stretches that you miss where the team's falling or kind of like stagnant, where he would knock down a couple threes and get him out of it. But he kind of seemed like an energy guy too. Like when he came in, it gets the whole team going, I guess, when he would come in and knock those down. Maybe.
I think he's kind of soft. I don't know. He's not Joan Gary.
No.
He's soft in my mind.
Instagram boy.
Yeah. Okay. Long episode. That's okay. We had a lot to talk about.
I still have opinions about the defensive coordinator stuff. We waited too long. Next week.
About hiring me or not?
Not you. Definitely not you.
Definitely not Dak. We're not hiring Dak.
I have opinions about Matt Rhule's structures.
Well, we might have an answer. I don't know. We'll have
Yeah,
it by next
well,
week.
We should have some names out there by next podcast.
We
you
have
would think.
because
Austin, you know what? Here's what you can do. Do a little monologue and we'll post it on the podcast. Just send me a monologue.
All right. It revolves around Phil Snow's role as the whatever the hell Phil Snow does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be back next week. Maybe hearing a monologue from Austin. Gilbert Red.
GBR.
Don't be great.